Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're putting on our investigator hats and breaking down a really terrifying localized phenomenon. We're looking at a sequence of events that occurred during a night guard's totally doomed shift at a 100-year-old hotel. We're going to treat this legend exactly like a chronological incident report, basically tearing apart the mechanics of a supernatural trap to figure out exactly where things went horribly wrong.
Right out of the gate, we're hit with this incredibly ominous rule. If you ever hear a child crying behind a locked door, never, ever open it. Now, this perfectly sets the stage for our incident report, right? It shows us exactly why opening the wrong door can have literal fatal consequences. It introduces this massive conflict between our basic human instinct to just help someone in need and a very strict set of survival rules.
Section 1. The new night guard and the warning. Let's start by looking at our main subject here, a brand new guard named Alex. So, picture this setting. It's an old, abandoned hotel sitting right on the edge of town. This place is over a century old and it is just steeped in these strange, localized rumors. Right before Alex starts his shift, the owner stops him to lay down the absolute golden rule of the property, which is never open room number 13. I mean, no matter what you hear. But what's really fascinating here is the human psychology of it all. Alex actually just arrogantly laughs these eerie rumors off, even when the owner is terrified, claiming that absolutely anyone who enters room 13 disappears forever. Alex just brushes it off. To him, it's just an old, dusty room.
Moving on to Section 2, the 3 a.m. phenomenon. We really need to look at how the atmosphere just totally escalates the second the clock strikes 3.
Okay, so at midnight, everything's perfectly normal. It's just your standard, quiet night shift. But then, at exactly 3 a.m., the environment drastically shifts. Every single light in the entire hotel flickers. By 3:01, the hallway drops into this complete heavy silence, you know the kind. And then at 3:02 a.m., the physical contact starts. Knock, knock, knock. 3 slow knocks echoing straight out of room number 13. This precise timeline is absolutely crucial because it shows this sudden supernatural jump from Monday normalcy to absolute escalating dread. And then comes the audio lore. You hear it. "Mister, please help me. I'm scared." I mean, just imagine being totally isolated in the dark. The lights have just flickered, the silence is deafening, and out of nowhere you hear this incredibly realistic voice of a little girl whispering right from behind that forbidden door. It's a completely manipulative, chilling tactic. Section 3. The security camera footage. Alex decides to consult the CCTV monitors to get some actual visual evidence. So Alex rushes over to the monitors. Suddenly, the camera inside room 13 activates entirely on its own. On the screen, he sees a little girl sitting completely alone, right in the center of the room. Her long black hair is completely covering her face. And then, slowly, deliberately, she lifts her head up toward the lens. Now, this security feed initially gives Alex this false sense of distance, right? A false sense of safety. He feels like he's just an observer, separated by technology and thick walls, right up until the exact moment the girl acknowledges the camera. Because when she looks up, she had no eyes. Instead of a normal human face, 2 endless black holes stared directly into the camera lens, right before the screen filled with static and instantly went pitch black. So the main takeaway here is that Alex now has absolute visual confirmation that whatever is sitting in that room is definitely not a normal living human child. Section 4. Opening room number 13. Despite that terrifying visual he just saw, the crying from the hallway is growing louder and it's begging to be let out, leading Alex to make a critical, unchangeable error. Let's map out exactly how human curiosity and, frankly, misplaced empathy can totally override basic logic, step by fatal step. Step 1 is the psychological failure, where he completely ignores the hotel owner's initial explicit warning. Step 2 is physical mobilization. He actually grabs the hotel master key. And step 3, well, that's the point of no return. With trembling hands, he unlocks the door to room 13. And just look at this devastating realization. Based on everything he heard, Alex expected to find a frightened, crying little girl trapped inside. But the reality, it's an entirely empty room. There is no girl, there's no furniture, there is absolutely nothing except a dusty porcelain doll lying on the floor. This juxtaposition is wild because it reveals the cruel nature of this supernatural trap. Those heartbreaking sounds of a child were literally just an illusion, masking a desolate, empty space.
Section 5. The chilling aftermath. The very moment Alex touches that dusty porcelain doll, the trap is completely sprung.
The sequence of events here is so rapid and overwhelming.
The instant he touches it, the door violently slams shut right behind him. Every single light in the room immediately goes out, and then dark shadows physically start crawling across the walls. Remember that little girl's voice that was just crying for help? It now echoes from everywhere in the room saying, "Now you can take my place." The shadows literally wrap around him as he screams into a void where absolutely nobody on the outside can hear a single sound.
The rest of the aftermath just plays out in dead silence. At roughly 3:15 a.m., Alex vanishes entirely into those crawling shadows. Hours go by. Finally, at 8 a.m., the morning shift arrives, realizes their guard is missing, and calls the authorities. By 8:30 a.m., the police have to physically force the door to room 13 open to investigate what happened.
And when they finally breach the room, it's entirely empty. Alex is completely gone, without a single trace. The only physical remnant that he was ever even there is his broken flashlight, just left behind on the dusty floor. Oh, and most disturbingly, there's a message written in fresh blood right on the wall. The physical evidence left at this scene definitively confirms what the hotel owner warned him about from the very start. Anyone who goes in disappears forever.
So what did that bloody message actually say? Waiting for the next guest. This chilling note proves that the entity hasn't left. It hasn't been satisfied. It's literally just resetting the trap, waiting for the very next person who dares to take the night shift. So as we wrap up our analysis here, let's clearly define what it is we're dealing with. The trap of room 13 is a supernatural phenomenon where a malicious entity uses the auditory illusion of a vulnerable, crying child at exactly 3 a.m. to lure victims into opening a sealed doorway to their own doom. The absolute crucial point of this explainer is understanding how this legend works mechanically. This isn't just some movie monster hiding behind a door. It's a highly psychological trap where your own human empathy is weaponized to make you willingly unlock the door and walk directly into your own tomb.
Which leaves us with one final, very personal question for you to ponder. Knowing all the terrifying facts we've gone over in this incident report, understanding the exact timeline of the 3 a.m. phenomenon, and knowing the absolute horrific fate that awaits inside, if you were all alone in the dark working that night shift, and you heard those innocent cries for help echoing through the silence, honestly, would you be able to just walk away? Or would you unlock the door?